Good morning, class. How are you doing? I hope that you are all fine. Thank you. Class, today we are going to study about active and passive voice. Are you ready to study? Okay, let's go. The second slide is about definition of active and passive voice. Active voice is a sentence whose subject is doing something or doing a job. In Indonesian, the characteristic of the active sentence is that the verb always begins with me. In the active voice, we only need to use the basic form of the verbs in composing the sentence. Passive voice is a grammatical construct. The noun word or phrase that will become the object of the active sentence appears as the subject of the sentence with a passive voice. In Indonesian, the passive voice is usually followed by a prefix in the form of di. For example, if the active sentence is carry, the passive sentence is carried. Now the formula. Active voice subject plus verb plus object. Passive voice subject plus be plus past participle plus by agent. Examples. Number 1. I eat a pear. A pear is eaten by me. Number 2. Tony meets them every day. They are met by him every day. Number 3. Andin waters his plant every 2 days. This plant is watered by her every 2 days. He met them yesterday. They were met him yesterday. Number 5. He will meet them tomorrow. They will be met by him tomorrow. Number 6. The farmers are going to harvest the crops next week. The crops are going to have to be harvested by them next week. Once again, the crops are going to be harvested by them next week. Number 7. He will have met them before I get there tomorrow. They will have been met by him before I get there tomorrow, etc. Now please look at active and passive voice patterns in tenses. Listen carefully. If the active voice is in the simple present tense, the be passive voice will be is, am, or are. If the active voice is in the perfect continuous tense, the passive voice is has or have been plus being. If the active voice is in the past perfect continuous tense, then the passive voice is had been plus being. If the active voice is in the future continuous tense, then the passive voice will be plus being. If the active voice is in the past future continuous tense, then the passive voice would be plus being. If the active voice is in the future perfect continuous tense, then the passive voice is will have been plus being. If the active voice is in the past future perfect continuous tense, then the passive voice would have been plus being. If the active voice is in the present continuous tense, the passive voice is, am, or are plus being. If the active voice is in the simple past tense, the passive voice is was or were. If the active voice is in the present perfect tense, the passive voice is which is placed after the auxiliary has or have, so it becomes has been or have been. If the active voice is in the past perfect tense, the passive voice is been which is placed after the auxiliary had, so it becomes had been. If the active voice is in the simple future tense, the passive voice is will be. If the active voice is in the future perfect tense, the passive voice is been, which is placed after the auxiliary will have, so it becomes will have been. If the active voice is in the past future perfect tense, then the passive voice is which is placed after the auxiliary would have, so it becomes would have been. If the active voice is in the past continuous tense, the passive voice is was or were plus being. That is about active and passive voice in pattern in tenses. Next, I will give you some activities. Please do it. Please choose 10 patterns from previous slide that you like, and make the active and passive voice sentences well. If you have some questions, please write down in the columns comment. I think it's all enough for today. Thank you, class. See you for next meeting. I hope that today you will be a good student and understand about what I have given to you. Any question? Okay, don't forget to give your like, your comments, and subscribe. And then please help to share these videos in order that we can share all together the knowledge of active and passive voice. Thank you. Bye-bye.